If you're looking to get into real estate investing, there's so many different things you need to keep in mind. But I would argue one of the most important things and important people that you need on your team is an investor-friendly realtor. Today's video, I'm going to talk about 5 different reasons why having a realtor who works with investors is super, super important. So let's get started. Number 1, rents. An investor-friendly realtor should know how much things rent for. It's part of their business for them to know 3-bedroom, 1-bath in this area, upper level, lower level, roughly how much can I get. Those are usually the first numbers you start with when you're trying to do your cash flow calculation to see if the property works. If you're not sure how to do the cash flow calculation, check out this video right here and you can learn all about it. Knowing the rents is the first step to knowing if a property works. And having a realtor who can name it off will save you ton of time, perhaps a ton of money, and you're not just going to waste your time sort of looking at a property, due diligence, call in the city, do all those things you need to do for a waste of time because the rent situation isn't going to work. Having a realtor who knows that saves you a ton of time, puts you on the right path. Number 2, the ARV or the after repair value. A lot of times in today's market, investors are going in with like a value add strategy, the BRRRR strategy. If you're not sure what that is, check out this video right here. It is very important to know that if you do a certain number of renovations, it'll be worth a certain amount. That amount is the key to whether your strategy is going to work or not. So if you have a realtor who knows that if you fix up this place in this way or pump in this much money, here's what it's going to be worth after the repairs, well, that's going to set you down in the right path to figure out, should I put the time in or waste the energy to try and renovate this entire property and deal with contractors and all the headaches. If the after repair value is not going to work, save yourself a lot of time, work with a realtor who knows those numbers. Number 3, the neighborhood and the local realtor. Different streets and different neighborhoods can not only command different rents, but also attract different clientele. A local realtor is so important because they know that maybe this one street over here you don't want to mess with, and this other street, although it looks like it's in kind of a rough area, for some reason this one street is a home run in terms of property values and a good place to invest. So working with someone who kind of knows the city, knows the history of the city, kind of knows the clientele you're going to attract, and specifically knows the streets and the neighborhoods, great way to sort of get a little bit of an advantage in terms of where to invest and maybe find a diamond in the rough. Number 4, construction costs. Depending on what you plan to do with the place, a lot of times, especially in a market that is so hot, you want to buy an undervalued property, put in some of the work, effort, and money, and then get that lift, that after repair value, the BRRRR strategy basically. If that is your plan, or even if you want to do small construction, you need to know what it's roughly going to cost before you actually purchase the property, because the last thing you want to do, purchase it, you know the after repair, you know what it could rent for, and then the construction costs have ballooned or they're much higher than you anticipated, and then the numbers don't work anymore and it's just a headache for no reason. A realtor who works with investors will know construction costs because it's such a popular strategy that they'll be able to tell you roughly if you're looking to take out the kitchen or put new flooring or a complete gut job of the basement, making a second suite, they'll be able to give you a ballpark of roughly what it's going for in their neighborhood around that time. And another tip is because they're used to doing this, used to working with people, they probably know a lot of contractors, and you can leverage their power team and use them on your power team to get the job done quickly without the headache. And it's kind of like an extra level of a reference check because the realtor has worked with them before, or maybe they've seen them do so many projects with other investors, and you kind of have a really good head start in that really, really important direction. Number 5, a realtor must have their own property. As much as someone might work with other investors, it's super important that they have actually been on your side of the sort of game, if you will, for dealing with tenants, dealing with contractors, dealing with realtors, the city. It's one thing to just work for someone, buy and purchase homes, and maybe throw out some numbers here and there because you're used to working with investors, but it's a whole nother ball game to have done it yourself. They can anticipate and see things that maybe you're not aware of. They can understand maybe how the city works because they've had to work with the city and not just have their individual investors call the city. Once they've established those connections, they know kind of the process and all the things to look out for. Again, you can leverage their knowledge from having done it, not just having heard about it, to do it properly and the right way and avoid headache, save money, save time, and put yourself again down that right path. It's so important to work with an investor-friendly realtor who has their own properties. They know what you're going through, they know what to look for, and if they know the rents, they know the ARV, local neighborhood, construction costs, and they do it themselves, I promise you, you're going to be much farther ahead in the entire process, and you're going to be super successful down the road.